Okay, so in previous lecture we discussed about the conventional treatment method for wastewater. Okay, in that we discuss about the primary treatment methods and secondary treatment methods. So in primary treatment methods we discuss about the uh, primary sedimentation tank, then screening, then oil and grease trap, that is skimming tank, then grit chamber. So these are some of the primary treatment. Okay, so screening, grit chamber, oil and grease trap, that is skimming tank, and the primary sedimentation tank. So these all are the primary treatment methods. And then we discuss about the secondary treatment methods. So in secondary we discuss about the activated sludge process, that is ASP, aerobic process, aerobic biological process, and second the trickling filter, or that is aerobic biological process. Okay, so these two methods which are mostly used for the treatment of wastewater, that is conventional treatment method, activated sludge process, and trickling filter. The tertiary treatment methods like disinfection by using disinfectant like ozonation, UV radiation, and chlorination. So these are some of the tertiary treatment methods which can be used for the disinfection of water and wastewater. So now we have to discuss about the low cost treatment methods. Okay. So as we know, this conventional method like activated sludge process and trickling filter. So this method having higher cost of operation and maintenance. Okay, so total operation cost and maintenance cost is too much high for the conventional treatment methods. So here is one option that is called as low cost treatment method, and that methods having low operation and maintenance cost. So overall cost of operation and maintenance is low. That's why this method are called as the low cost treatment method. Okay, so what are the different low cost treatment methods? So the first one is oxidation pond. Next one is aerated lagoon. Next, oxidation ditches. Okay, so these are some of the low cost treatment methods which are used for the treatment of wastewater and the industrial waste. Okay, so what are these various treatment methods? Okay, so the first one is the oxidation pond, or the oxidation pond, also called as waste stabilization pond. Okay, so this waste stabilization pond or oxidation pond, it is nothing but a stabilization pond is simply a shallow body of water contained in an earthen basin, and is open to atmosphere, that is open to sun and air. So this waste stabilization pond, also called as oxidation pond. So one thing is that the detention period for this oxidation pond is long as compared to the conventional method. So consider to be completely mixed biological reactor without solid return. So the working of this stabilization pond, oxidation pond or waste stabilization pond is similar to the conventional treatment method like activated sludge process, okay, but without solid return. And these treatment methods, low cost treatment methods, widely used in rural areas due to their low cost of construction. Okay, so where is the space available easily or land available in low cost? So in rural areas, these are the mostly used method as their low cost of operation and low cost of construction. Okay, so overall cost of construction, operation and maintenance is less as compared to the conventional method. So mostly or widely these methods are used in rural areas, okay, due to availability of land and low cost of land. Okay, so these treatment methods used for various industries like dairy industries or refineries or poultry processing plant. Okay. So whatever the waste which comes from these various industries like dairy or refinery or poultry processing plant, so that waste which is going to be treated by using this oxidation pond. Okay. So this waste stabilization pond, as we already discussed, the working is same as like the working of conventional method of activated sludge process. Okay. So the stabilization pond are open flow through the basin specifically designed and constructed to treat sewage and biodegradable industrial waste. So this stabilization pond or oxidation pond, which are used for the treatment of wastewater, sewage, and industrial waste. Okay, so they provide long detention period extending from a few to several days. Okay, so one of the important and major thing with the stabilization pond is the long detention period, and the detention period may be 10 days, 20 days, or 28 days. Okay, so the detention period is long in case of stabilization pond. So pond system in which oxygen is provided through mechanical aeration rather than algal photosynthesis or called as aerated lagoon. So sometimes oxygen supply or sometimes oxygen absence. Okay. So when oxygen is provided by the mechanical aerator or surface aerator, so in this case you can say the aerated lagoon. Okay. So either by photosynthesis oxygen is supplied or some atmospheric oxygen also dissolved into that water, and some mechanical aeration system also provide for the supply of oxygen. Okay. So these are various due to these various reasons, either photosynthesis or either atmospheric oxygen or either mechanical aeration system, oxygen is evolved into the stabilization pond or oxygen supply to the stabilization pond for the process of oxidation. Okay, so lightly loaded pond used as tertiary step in wastewater for polishing of secondary effluent and removal of bacteria are called as maturation pond. Okay, so this maturation pond is one of the type which is used as a tertiary treatment after the secondary treatment of activated sludge process for the removal of bacteria are called as maturation pond. So the next you can see this is what the stabilization pond or oxidation pond, and the working is same as like a activated sludge process. Okay, so into the lake, the top zone is aerobic zone and the bottom zone is anaerobic zone. Okay, because of what the sunlight is passes at a certain level, and due to the larger depth of lake, the top layer or the above layer is act as aerobic, and where the oxygen and sunlight is absent, that layer is act as anaerobic. Okay, so bottom layer is act as anaerobic layer and the top layer is act as aerobic layer. Okay, so oxygen is supplied from the atmosphere. Okay, so whatever the organic matter which present into that waste, which going to be consumed by bacteria in the presence of oxygen. Okay, so atmospheric oxygen and dissolved oxygen, and these oxygen convert into the different product like CO2 and new bacteria. Okay, so this is what the process happen into the atmosphere. That is whatever that process happen, that is called as microbial algal symbiosis. So first thing what happen, due to photosynthesis, whatever that algae or plant which present into that water, okay, wastewater, whatever that lake and river. So this due to photosynthesis process, they utilize the CO2 and release the oxygen. Okay, so that oxygen utilized by the bacteria for the oxidation of organic matter. So during this process, they produce new bacteria, new cell, and convert that organic matter into CO2 and other waste. Okay, so again that CO2 utilized by plant release oxygen, oxygen utilized by bacteria release CO2. Okay, so this process is continuous, and that process is called as microbial algal symbiosis. So you can see that supply of oxygen from the atmosphere and organics plus bacteria plus O2 which release bacteria. Okay, and whatever waste which settle down at the bottom, that undergoes anaerobic decomposition. Okay, so classification of stabilization pond. So these stabilization ponds are classified into three types. The first one is aerobic ponds, second one is anaerobic pond, and third one is facultative pond. Okay, so aerobic pond where the aerobic conditions are maintained. So these ponds are called as aerobic pond. Anaerobic pond where the totally anaerobic condition present, and the facultative pond where the combination of both aerobic and anaerobic conditions prevail. So that pond is called as facultative pond. Okay. So aerobic ponds are the shallow ponds with depth less than 0.5 meter and BOD loading of 40 to 120 kg per hectare per day. Okay. So as to maximize penetration of light throughout the liquid depth, such ponds develop intense algal pools. Okay, so the depth of this pond, aerobic pond, are very less up to 0.5 meter, and these ponds are very shallow ponds. That's why lights easily penetrate up to the liquid depth. Maximum penetration of light throughout the liquid depth. So that's why it maintains the aerobic conditions. So that's why these ponds are called as aerobic pond, where the less depth or shallow depth. The secondly, the anaerobic ponds. So anaerobic ponds are used as a pre-treatment of high strength waste with a BOD of 400 to 3000 kg per hectare. Such ponds are constructed with a depth of 2.5 to 5 meter as light penetration is unimportant. Okay, so when the aerobic treatment is occurs, so in that case, the depth of the ponds which is higher. Okay, so whereas the light penetration is unimportant and the depth vary from 2.5 meter to 5 meter of depth. Okay, so these ponds act as anaerobic ponds. Okay, so anaerobic ponds are used as pre-treatment of high-strength waste with a BOD load of 400 to 3000 kg per hectare, and such ponds are constructed with a depth of 2.5 to 5 meter as light penetration is unimportant. Next one is facultative pond. So facultative pond is a combination of both aerobic and anaerobic ponds. Okay, so where both the conditions, aerobic as well as anaerobic conditions prevail, so that ponds are called as facultative ponds. Okay, so facultative ponds functions aerobically at the surface while anaerobic conditions prevail at the bottom, and they are often about 1 to 2 meter in depth, and the aerobic layer act as a good check against odor evolution from the pond. Okay, so a facultative pond which consists of two conditions at the surface is act as a aerobic condition, and at the bottom is act as a anaerobic condition, and the depth of this pond vary from 1 meter to 2 meter, and the aerobic oxidation which occurs at the surface at the pond and anaerobic oxidation occurs at the bottom of that pond. Okay, so aerobic as well as anaerobic both conditions prevail and both oxidation occurs within that pond that called as facultative pond and having a depth about 1 to 2 meter in depth. Okay, so this aerobic layer acts as a good check against odor evolution from the pond. Next, mechanism of purification. So how this oxidation pond works? So as we discussed, the same working of oxidation pond is same as like conventional method of activated sludge process. So sewage organics are stabilized by both aerobic and anaerobic reactions. In the top aerobic layer, where the oxygen is supplied through the algal photosynthesis, and the non-cyclable and the dissolved organic matter is oxidized to CO2 and water. Okay. So at the top layer is the aerobic layer, where the oxygen supply from the atmosphere as well as oxygen supply through the algal photosynthesis, and due to that that organic matter, dissolved and cyclable organic matter, is oxidized into CO2 and water uh, by bacteria, okay, and by utilizing that oxygen from the waste or oxygen from the water. So this is where in the top aerobic layer condition. Okay, some of the end products of partially anaerobic decomposition such as volatile acid and alcohols, which may permit to upper layers, are also oxidized periodically. So in the case of facultative bond, so whatever happen at the bottom, that is called as anaerobic decomposition, which release some acids, alcohols and gases, and when these gases which comes into the upper layer, they also get oxidized periodically. Okay. So whatever odors we generate in anaerobic decomposition, that get again oxidized into the top layer of aerobic or aerobic top layer. So where it happens? Mostly in facultative form, okay, where the aerobic as well as anaerobic conditions maintain. The settled sludge mass originating from raw waste and microbial synthesis in the aerobic layer and dissolved and suspended organics in the lower layers undergoes stabilization through conversion to methane which escape the pond in form of bubbles. Okay, so this is what the anaerobic decomposition, where the absence of oxygen, and in the absence of oxygen, whatever the sludge, settled sludge at the bottom, which undergoes the anaerobic decomposition and which convert that organic waste into methane. Okay, so CH4 methane, it is what the byproduct of anaerobic decomposition.